Tonight, out of time and money.
We know collectively there is a lot of work that we have to do.
Why Winnipeg is unlikely to see a designated area for encampments, and why some say the city is making a mistake. Also tonight, paying the price.
You got to pay the higher prices. There's no choice.
How shipping disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz might impact large-scale projects underway in Winnipeg. And later, touchdown bombers. The changes coming to Princess Auto Stadium after a record profit year for the blue and gold.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Taylor Brock.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Halmerson. City administrators are advising councillors to drop the idea of setting up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site. According to a new report, there's no time or money to make it happen. But as CTV's John Hendricks shows you, some believe not going ahead will have costs of its own.
Aside from a few people walking along the path, there isn't really anyone along this stretch of Waterfront Drive. But with the weather improving, Lori Nealon is worried it won't stay that way for much longer.
Last summer and the last 5 years, this stretch of Fort Douglas Park has been filled with encampments with people living in these squalid conditions.
Nealon says for years she's wanted the city to set up a managed outdoor homeless encampment site, but a new report at City Hall is not recommending the city create one. The report says the managed encampment site should be available between April and August. City staff envisioned it would help anywhere between 24 and 60 people, depending on how big it was. The site would have to include washrooms, garbage bins, and service providers. It's estimated it could cost as much as $1.39 million, a figure that doesn't include 24/7 security costs or wraparound supports.
I'll be supporting the staff's recommendation to not move forward with the managed encampment site. The City of Winnipeg is in partnership with the province of Manitoba on the Your Way Home strategy.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says the city is already taking action on addressing homelessness, approving 2,600 affordable housing units. And he says council also approved an encampment bylaw.
We have removed 17 encampments over the last several months and got those encampments cleaned up to get people into housing.
I think it's very short-sighted.
Marion Willis from St. Boniface Street Links supports the idea of a managed homeless encampment site. She says it's a focused way to get people everything they need to get into housing. And Willis says it's already proven itself in cities such as Halifax.
It's not about maintaining and managing homelessness. It's about truly ending it.
Instead, she expects the inner city will struggle this year in ways it hasn't before. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The floodway could go into operation over the weekend ahead of the Red River's peak in Winnipeg. The floodway gates would be raised to help control water levels in the city. The Red River is expected to crest at James Avenue in Winnipeg between April 21st and the 25th at 17.7 feet. That's just below what the province considers a moderate flood. Meantime, runoff is partially ongoing along the Assiniboine River. It's expected to peak in Winnipeg on April 25th. The province warns there could be minor flooding in low-lying areas along that river. Manitoba's only black bear rescue is putting forward a cash reward after a mother black bear was illegally killed last month. Manitoba Conservation say it happened on Road 6 East, just north of Balmoral, between roads 86 and 87 North, sometime between March 30th and 31st. The killing left behind 3 orphaned cubs who have been taken in by Manitoba Black Bear Rescue, and now that rescue is offering up a $10,000 reward for information that leads to a conviction. Manitoba Conservation says the maximum penalty is a $10,000 fine and or 6 months imprisonment. If you have any information that can help, contact conservation officers or call the Turn-In Poachers tip line. Those numbers are up on your screen, and you do not need to give your name. The clogged up Strait of Hormuz could impact Winnipeg's big sewage project. The $3 billion North Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases, and as CTV's Jeff Keel explains, the strait's closure has the potential to increase Phase 2's cost and schedule.
Heavy machinery like this uses a lot of fuel, so the Iran conflict, a half a world away, could push up the price of Winnipeg's most expensive project.
We're watching the impact that global events are having on our construction projects.
The $3 billion North Sewage Treatment Plant upgrades are being done in 3 phases, known as the headworks, biosolids, and nutrient removal portions. A report to the Mayor's Executive Policy Committee has identified a new risk for the biosolids phase. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz has the potential to impact cost and schedule. Monitoring of the closure to assess impacts on material costs and delivery timelines is ongoing.
Big projects all across Canada are always at risk to world trade.
Water and Waste Committee Chair Ross Eady says the standoff at the Strait is driving up gas and diesel prices, which trickles down to the cost of construction.
All of the heavy equipment that's utilized to do these projects and even producing concrete and other components.
The report also identifies another risk, a shortage of workers, because of the number of infrastructure projects planned in Manitoba.
Without enough workers, projects get delayed and the prices go up.
The Winnipeg Construction Association says changes to apprenticeship ratios and an aging workforce are also contributing to the shortages. The city report says a strategy to offset the problem is under development.
It's right for the city of Winnipeg to be looking at labor supply and making sure that there's the people there to build this very important project for all of Winnipeg.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
EPC will have a presentation on the report at next week's meeting. The mayor adds the city's vehicle fleet, including buses, ambulances, fire trucks, and police cruisers, is feeling the impact of rising fuel prices too. Gillingham says all departments have been reminded to watch their fuel use, including no idling when it's not necessary. Mounties are asking for your help tracking down a stolen truck and the person who may be responsible. It looks like this, a white 2019 Ford F550 SD XLT. It was parked behind a business on the outskirts of Carman and is believed to have been stolen around 4 a.m. Sunday. It was hooked up to a flatbed trailer with a forklift, which was found in LaSalle the following day. RCMP are also hoping to find this woman who they say was spotted in the parking lot around the time the truck was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to call Carman RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Blue Bomber fans will notice a few improvements when the season starts later this spring. Profits from last year allowed the Winnipeg Football Club to make new investments at Princess Auto Stadium. While operating expenses rose by $23 million last year due to hosting the Grey Cup, the club's 2025 annual report shows an operating profit of $12.1 million. That's thanks in part to a sold-out season. $8.4 million was used for improvements, including a new players' lounge, additional contactless security screening devices, and concession equipment. The club also installed 2 new high-resolution video boards, is replacing loge seats, and is redesigning the rum hut. Well, now that the snow has melted, for now, the grime and litter that lies beneath has been revealed. To freshen things up, the city is launching a beautification blitz in Winnipeg's downtown. 4 dedicated crews will clean and polish the area over the next 4 weeks, sweeping sidewalks and streets, replacing damaged signage, and pressure washing park equipment. The annual citywide spring cleanup starts Sunday. While the cleanup will involve more than 300 pieces of equipment and 500 workers, the mayor hopes you'll also lend a hand.
If you could take the time as a property owner, please, to sweep up and clean up your property, that would make a huge difference. It would get us accomplishing our goal of a cleaned up city faster.
For those that do, the annual yard waste program is set to begin the week of May 4th. Winnipeggers should also watch out for no parking signs and may be required to move their vehicles during the blitz. You can stay up to date on operations through the city's website and Know Your Zone app. And here's our first look at tonight's weather. About 6 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now under partly cloudy skies. The wind out of the north-northwest at 22, gusting all the way up to 34 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 74%. Well, we saw about a high of 16 today, but dipping down to -6 tonight. There is a chance of a wintry mix late tonight with winds out of the north, 30 gusting up to 50. And in the morning, waking up to only around -5. That chance of some light snow or freezing rain remains. I'll tell you when we could see a little bit more coming up when I have your complete Skywatch forecast.
A little sad to see the old historical buildings come down that you've just been so used to seeing all the time, eh?
Coming up, a southern Manitoba community bids farewell to its grain elevator in dramatic fashion. Just a month after Mayor Scott Gillingham announced new 7-Eleven stores were expected for Winnipeg, the convenience store chain now says it expects to close hundreds of locations this year. The company's North American operator says it plans to shut down 645 stores this fiscal year. 7-Eleven didn't specify which locations are on the chopping block or explain the reason for the closures, but the convenience giant has closed hundreds of underperforming locations over the past few years. These latest cuts are arriving as higher prices strain consumers worldwide. Just last month, Mayor Gillingham drank a Slurpee at his State of the City address, saying 7-Eleven officials told him they plan to open new stores in the city. New research suggests Canada's aging population is starting to downsize, which could mean more opportunities for younger buyers. RE/MAX Canada says data suggests a long-term downsizing wave is coming to the country's housing market. However, survey findings suggest the shift will happen gradually due to limited availability of suitable homes for people to move into. RE/MAX says 65% of people aged 65 or older are reporting low or no availability of smaller homes in their communities. A pile of scrap wood and metal is all that's left of a rural Manitoba grain elevator. The small farming community of Austin came together Wednesday to watch it fall, and dramatic video shows just how fast it came tumbling to the ground. CTV's Joseph Bernacki was there to witness it.
In one fell swoop, Austin's Prairie Sentinel came crashing to the ground.
I understand they're hazards and they have to come down, but at the same time, it is still a little sad to see something that hard work was put into.
On Wednesday morning, Shayna Bergen and her family came together to watch Austin's 75-year-old grain elevator come down. Bergen and her husband own the grocery store right across the street and have watched the elevator fall into disrepair. She says she wasn't surprised to hear it had to come down, but was happy to see dozens of people pay their respects.
My husband and I were actually joking that it kind of reminded us of corner gas because the entire town was out to watch something as simple as an elevator falling.
For retired truck driver and Austin resident Earl Fair, the elevator was a goalpost, reminding him he was close to home.
A little sad to see the old historical buildings come down that you've just been so used to seeing all the time, eh?
Gordon Goldsboro, executive director of Manitoba Historical Society, says grain elevators like the one built in 1951 in Austin are a dying breed on the prairies. He says they are the heart of the community.
We have a countdown of grain elevators in Manitoba, and it presently stands at 114. At one time, there were over 700 elevators in Manitoba.
Goldsboro estimates of the remaining 114, less than half are still in operation. Luckily for Austin residents, an even older grain elevator still stands high above the tree line. At the Manitoba Agricultural Museum just down the road, this structure from 1901 remains the oldest standing elevator in the province. Last year, the museum spent over $9,000 in repairs to help keep the building sound for a few more decades.
Conversely to the elevator that was torn down today, which had disrepair from water and the elements getting in, these expensive but very worthy conservation repairs is why we do that.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Austin.
City councillors remain stumped on how to approach regulations around fireworks and are asking for more time to study the issue.
We are trying to be more proactive, but we don't have. So remaining status quo, I'm going to challenge you, remaining status quo is not working for 3 or 4 of the wards.
Yesterday, the Community Services Committee approved a motion to revisit the issue next March, and in the meantime, gather more data and set up a working group. Councillors discussed a number of options they hope will satisfy both those who want to set off fireworks safely and those opposed to fireworks. It includes a ban on certain types of fireworks, only allowing fireworks on certain days, or increasing fines for illegally setting off fireworks. In most cases, enforcement remains an issue, as the city only has a limited number of people who can respond to such calls, and they only work daytime hours. Well, get those shopping bags ready. We now know when Japanese clothing giant Uniqlo is opening at CF Polo Park. The Lifewear retailer says doors will open May 15th. The Uniqlo store will be located on the second level of the mall by the food court. It will eat up about 18,000 square feet with clothing for men, women, and kids. A second location will open later this year at St. Vital Centre. Punk band The Bouncing Souls are making a stop in Winnipeg. Coming up, we'll tell you when and where. And we'll have your complete Skywatch forecast when we return. First Skywatch pick of the day comes from Dennis right here in downtown Winnipeg. Some wonderful storm clouds there. We actually had a few photos of those coming through earlier this evening. And our second, this is my new friend Ivy. Just taking a leap there in a puddle out in East St. Paul. Melissa, thanks so much for sending that one in. Well, we're going to be leaping in some puddles over the next couple of days. We got a few systems rolling through Manitoba. I'll break those down in just one moment. Tonight here down in northwest Ontario, some scattered showers, maybe a bit of freezing rain, even a chance of some thunderstorms. We actually saw some photos, potential funnel clouds. We're going to look into that tomorrow. As for tonight, some weather alerts to pass along. All over the map here, folks. So let's start up north. Now, this one we told you about last night, moving through central Manitoba. It shifted east, so no longer in the Flin Flon area. But this system brought 15 to 20 centimeters to parts of central Manitoba. It should clear up overnight finally. But here down in the south, we're under a special weather statement. Much of southern Manitoba is almost to the Ontario border. Now, this is going to be more, I'm actually going to go back. We're going to see more freezing rain along the Trans-Canada Highway corridor than anything else, but there is a chance of snow, especially in the west. So that could bring another 10 centimeters to parts of southern Manitoba. Same weather statement is in effect for parts of northwest Ontario as well. And just above that, a winter storm warning for other parts of northern or northwestern Ontario, including Red Lake, up to 20 centimeters there. So this is all going to happen over the next couple of days. We'll see that on the future cast here. So we can see that system moving in, bringing the risk of freezing rain early in the morning. That could affect the morning commute, especially along the Trans-Canada Highway. And behind that, another storm system. So again, chances of snow here in Winnipeg. We'll likely see that wintry mix. So a risk of some freezing rain, some snow. And that's just going to carry on through into Friday as well. And as you can see, northwest Ontario feeling that impact as well. And it's not going to get that warm over the weekend as well. So hopefully you got to enjoy those temperatures today. A look around the province tonight, minus 22 in Churchill, minus 19 in Gillam, minus 15 in Island Lake, some snow there. Getting up to minus 5 in Thompson tomorrow under mainly sunny skies. Up in the northwest, finally clearing out in areas like Flin Flon and the Paw. Getting up to minus 6 tomorrow in Lynn Lake with plenty of sunshine, a little cloudier south of that. To our west out in Brandon and the surrounding area, around minus 7 tonight there. Risk of some freezing rain, chance of some snow as well. Minus 7 up in Swan River tomorrow. The entire region could see some snow. Here in Winnipeg and the surrounding region, around minus 6 tonight here, minus 3 down in Steinbach, mainly cloudy skies. Waking up tomorrow to that wintry mix as we've been talking about throughout most of the region. Plus 3 though tomorrow in the Morden Winkler area and just over the border in Ontario. 0 in Dryden tonight, some chance of fog, getting up to 16 degrees in Fort Francis tomorrow. Look at your 7-day forecast. Cool over the weekend, minus 3 on Friday with more snow likely. Sun and clouds Saturday, only a high of 0, but getting up into the teens on Monday and Tuesday. We'll get ready to rock out this summer. An American punk band is coming to Winnipeg. The Bouncing Souls will be hitting the stage at the Park Theatre. They're known for songs like Lean on Sheena, True Believers, and Hopeless Romantic. The band will be bringing their high-energy performance. Now, the show takes place on July 12th. Tickets are now available online at livenation.com. The team behind The White Lotus has revealed where the next season of the HBO comedy drama series will be set. The original series from Mike White is now filming its 4th season on the French Riviera. An official synopsis says this time around the show will follow a new group of guests and employees at the fictional luxury hotel chain as they attend the Cannes Film Festival. A source told Variety the White Lotus cast and crew will be on the ground during the actual festival next month, but it's not clear if they'll be filming.
It's like really nice to be able to take the time to do something special and make people laugh and smile.
Turning trash into treasure, coming up, how one man is making random things useful again in unexpected ways. Turning trash into treasure has helped one Vancouver man find a new outlook on life. He's repurposed old boots, ski poles, and even given a video camera a second life. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
Although it is unusual to see boots outside a bedroom window that were once blooming,
Marigolds and cowboy boots.
Chris Poland says he regularly repurposes things like this while riding around finding things others have left behind.
I stumbled upon this bag with a free sign, and it had an old camera in it.
A video camera, likely discarded because its technology is so outdated.
But I didn't really know about it, so I left it in a box for like 2 years.
In the meantime, Chris started playing competitive bicycle polo.
Kind of like hockey on bikes.
But instead of skates, a stick, and puck, you ride around trying to hit a ball into a net with a mallet.
Not many people do ski poles.
But then again, not many people are like Chris, who turned these old ski poles he found into polo mallets before cutting orange construction fencing into the wheel guards you need to protect your bike spokes from being bent.
Now I can't go back because the orange is so good.
And it turns out Chris is so good at the sport, he plays all over the place, and was recently invited to compete in Whitehorse.
So I have a friend who happens to be throwing a film festival in Whitehorse.
A friend who also looks for the unexpected possibilities of things and spent months collecting thousands of aluminum cans so he could buy a projector to play the movies.
He called it the Cannes Film Festival, which is pretty nice.
As opposed to Cannes.
Yeah.
So Chris taught himself how to use that old camera, shot this short comedy despite never making a movie before, and was inspired to see how recycling cans could end up cultivating community.
During the winter, to bring people together when it's cold and like people need connection up there.
So now that he's back home, Chris will keep searching for things that he can make useful again in unexpected ways.
It's like really nice to be able to take the time to do something special and make people laugh and smile.
Which is why Chris is planning to replant those marigolds, because although these boots were made for walking, he knows that's not just all they'll do. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, it's striking fear in the hearts of wild Polish boars. And we'll break down tomorrow's forecast next.
Women's clothing provided by R.W. & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
-5 in the morning with a mix of rain and snow expected. Windy out of the north, 30 gusting up to 50. Much the same mid-afternoon, around -3. Getting up to around 0 at 5 o'clock. That wintry mix kicking around. Countless videos of humanoid robots have made the rounds, but mostly as demonstrations. Now a robot in Poland has found a practical function. Check this out. This robot's name is Edward, and in this video, it's chasing away a small herd of wild boars and yelling, "Go away," in Polish. Edward is equipped with AI technology and has actually become an internet personality in Poland. It regularly chats with people on the streets of Warsaw and even ran the city's marathon last month. And right at the end here, he shakes his fist at the boars. That is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.